Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy! Yay! Hello, how are you?
It's chilly. It's chilly. How are you?
I'm good. I love your mug. I was going to say it's adorable.
I know, right? It's huge.
Yeah.
It's nearly the size of my head.
That's really cute. For those of you who are listening to the audio, I prompt you to go on YouTube and look at the mug. It's really cute. I have a Harry Potter mug.
I thought I saw the Hufflepuff emblem,
Yeah.
and then we talked about something else, and I was like,
I know. Because I'm a Hufflepuff. I got it from John Lewis in London, and they only had the Hufflepuff and Slytherin left, and I regret not getting the Slytherin one as well, just for the fun. It would have been nice to have like the whole set, but they didn't. They only had the Hufflepuff and Slytherin, so I just got the Hufflepuff. I have a thing for mugs. I have a thing for mugs.
Yeah,
You should see how many mugs I have.
I have a thing for mugs as well. You will see my mug collection in a few months.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but I get that from my parents who just every year it seems to, let's just get them a mug, and they don't have, and I'm sure you're the same and I'm the same, they don't have sets of mugs. They have, a mug from this trip and a mug from that trip and a couple of mugs for this, and if they have 100, I don't think I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, I got it from my mother. She also likes collecting mugs, and I just like wherever I go, I feel like that's the best sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God. When you buy a gift shop, like when you buy what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, I can't believe it. A souvenir, thank you. Oh my God, I have a bilingual mind, so every so often I can hear the word in Hebrew in my head, but I can't think of it in English. And it happens both ways, by the way. So whenever I'm talking in a conversation, a lot of times I just throw in like words from the other language. And in some conversations, I can't do that. And it's so frustrating. I'm like, so
Get it?
Yeah.
The other day I wrote something up and I wanted my mum to just kind of check it and just tell me what she thought. And she said, you need to check the grammar in a couple of these sentences because there's something off about it. And I read it again, and if you translated word for word from French to English, you can tell what my mind did. It was just, I wasn't even thinking in English, but because I'd been writing in English and then I switched to French for this particular article, the syntax and the grammar I still had the English kind of like background working somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're also bilingual, so you're basically just kind of
Exactly. I get it.
Yeah, I remember when I was also now sometimes when I was younger, especially I would how am I going to say this? Like I used to use sort of English, like the English way of saying something in Hebrew that you can't, like when you say playing the guitar, and you can't really, I can't really convey it in Hebrew, but like in Hebrew it's like a different word for it. But I would say like the English way of saying it in Hebrew. I hope I didn't butcher that and you get what I mean. Anyway, I'm digressing. My brain. Sometimes.
I'm curious to have your thought about this. So I not yet earn a perfect living from coaching and this podcast soon. So I
Yes.
have a job working for a company, and so I was talking to a colleague. She just arrived in the company, and so we talk about obviously her relationship, and I'm like, it's always a bit tough for me with new people to kind of just like have that barrier of just, if you're going to tell me about your relationship, I'm not gonna coach you into anything. Um, but it's still, people still kind of like talking to me about it. And so
Mm-hmm.
she has been with this guy for, I think, 4 months or something. And he is going to a concert with his ex-girlfriend that he was together with for like 4 or 5 years. Let's say, call it 5 years. They've been broken up for a year. So during that time where he was single, he because she has kids and he has a kid, and they kind of like parented each other's kids, and anyway they were still on good terms. And so for her birthday, he bought them two. And now I'm saying, as I'm saying it, I'm just anyway, two concert tickets that is supposed to happen in a couple of weeks. And so since buying the tickets, he has got into a relationship with my new colleague. And I'm going to stop talking, you speak.
Oh, that's a rough one. Well, I'm not a huge believer in staying friends with your ex. And believe me, I understand that, a lot of times exes were our friends before they were our significant other. So it's like a double loss because you're losing a friend. And a lot of times, even when you weren't friends before, you're still losing a friend when you break up. But there's always going to be that tension and that baggage between you two. So it's kind of like, I mean, if you're not dating other people, then there's no harm, no foul for like whatever you want. But when you're dating another person, it's I don't know, it's hard to say because I mean I feel like, look, there's no wrong or right like way to live life, and a lot of who am I to tell someone not to be friends with their ex? But when you're dating someone and it's bothering them, then you have to, well, I guess you have to understand why it's bothering and if there's something there. I don't know. It's really hard to say. There's like no concrete answer here. It really depends on the dynamics between the two. I mean, it's not as if like they're divorced and they have shared kids. They each have kids, which sort of are shared, but I don't know.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and I'm not sure if I'm making any sense in anything that I'm saying because I myself don't know how I would react if my boyfriend started hanging out with his girlfriend. There's something weird about it.
I it's it links into what I was telling you about this. I'm gonna say like these trigger words or whatever, but the woke culture. Honestly, if I had to, I'm not even gonna say if I were left or right where I would sit, but I get it. I get the woke culture. I did the Thailand like trip, and I got into it, and I got into this whole you know thinking for yourself mentality, and like you live for yourself and you don't owe anyone anything, and you like be your beautiful original self. I get it, and I think it's beautiful, and I think if everybody could just mind their own business, because I think that some truth to that, I think it would be great. However, so I'm trying to get in his mindset of what is he getting out of this. Okay, he wants to get to the concert, he likes spending time with her, and he doesn't owe anyone anything, so he doesn't owe my colleague anything. However, you know, you live in a society, so you want to be thinking, you still want to be thinking of other things. My freedom stops where the other person's freedom begins, type of thing. And when you're in a relationship, if you don't think that you should be taking into account the other person's feelings, then I think that's a problem and you shouldn't be in a relationship. Like, I agree with, when you're in a relationship, it should be a majority of just like bonuses, and it shouldn't be life changing. You should be your own person, and the relationship you're in should be bringing in more positivity than it does anything else. However, people come with their baggage, and you should be taking that baggage into account. If you want to be in a relationship and get all of the positives, you should be dealing with the negatives. And so, this guy, my colleague, is saying, no, this is making me really uncomfortable for a variety of valid reasons. And he's coming back saying, no, I do what I want. I'm my own person. I'm my free spirit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, fine. You shouldn't be in a relationship. You shouldn't be wanting to share your life with somebody if you're not willing to hear her boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, it's a relationship is a give and take, and you have to make compromises for one another. Of course, ones that don't go against your morals and values, and you have to weigh in on what's worth it and what isn't. And I feel like a lot of times we want we hold another person to a standard which we're not willing or can't uphold ourselves. So I might go out with my ex-boyfriend and hang out with him, but he's not allowed to hang out with his ex-girlfriend, because that bothers me. So I'm saying, I mean, on the surface, if they're friends and nothing's going on, and it's like, you're talking and having an open conversation about it, then fine, and let him go hang out with his ex-girlfriend. But he has to also be open-minded. If you like, a lot of times you have to think of, would it bother me if the other side did this as well? And then if that bothers you, then you know that you're doing something wrong. Because if you want to hang out with your ex-girlfriend and do things with her, you have to think, okay, but if my girlfriend hung out with her ex-boyfriend, would that bother me? And that sort of helps you answer the quantum, I don't know how to call it, of whether or not this is right or wrong.
I agree. I think each relationship and each situation, and I agree. I completely agree with you, like not being a big believer of being friends with your exes, that there are some exceptions, and and it's fine. I think that the mistake that's happening here on his side is that he is making out like my colleague is being a bit like, she's making a mountain out of a molehill, and she's being, she's being high maintenance, and she's being petty and all of these things. And as soon as because I tried, when she was telling me about it, I tried to kind of just see his point of view, and whether when I'm coaching or just with friends, I rarely just kind of back my friend 100%. I often try to just see the bigger picture, because I believe that's what's most helpful. And then she told me that he was just like, you're pissing me off with this, you need to drop it, and like, it's nothing, you're making it bigger than it is. And I was like, that's the problem. Going